Dad inspected a brand new Caravan which Mum had ordered without telling him. It had been delivered that morning and was now attached to the back of our car. The Caravan was long, sleek and white, and its name, Holiday Master 3000, was printed along the side. "I still don't know what was wrong with our old Caravan," grumbled Dad. "This must have cost a fortune." Mum sighed. "Ugh, we're spending the weekend with the Taylors. They're like the royal family, but richer. We want them to think we're good enough to be their friends, don't we?" Dad stuck out his bottom lip like a moody toddler. "I don't want to be friends with them. They're rude show-offs, and I've got a massive bruise on my arm where he keeps whacking me." "Be nice," warned Mum. "They're going to be here in about 5 minutes." To me, this weekend sounded more like a prison sentence than a holiday. The only good thing was that Rosie's dad had bullied Mr. Noblet, the head teacher, into letting us have 3 days off school. But then again, since the worst thing about school is spending time with Rosie, I hadn't actually gained anything. Dad wasn't impressed either. He grunted to himself as he packed the bags in the back of the car. I had a peek inside the Caravan, which I've got to say was pretty awesome. It was really modern and smart. There was a comfy fitted sofa that folded out to make a bed for Mum and Dad, and a separate twin bedroom for me and Gamble. Ah yes, Gamble. There was a problem with him. Okay, so there are loads of problems with him. The filth, the violence, the way he keeps breaking the law. But on this day, there was one problem bigger than all the others. I hadn't exactly told my parents he was coming. And at that moment, without knocking, he clomped into the Caravan, swigging a can of Coke. He finished it, smashed it flat against his forehead, and then wetly burped out the words, "All right, Roman," at me. Lovely. He was carrying a plastic bag in his hand. "What's in there?" I asked. "Fireworks," he grinned. "Make the wedding go with a bang." Gamble and explosives aren't a good combination. One time he brought a homemade bomb to school in his rucksack and the army had to come and detonate it. He waggled the bag about. "Don't worry, I'll find somewhere safe to keep 'em." "Roman," hissed Mum from the door. "A word." I stepped out of the Caravan. Mum shut the door behind us, sending Dad in to keep watch over Gamble. "What is Darren doing here?" she asked. "I was going to tell you," I said awkwardly. "Tell me what?" "Gamble is kind of my guest for the weekend." Mum looked at me like I told her my guest was a flesh-eating zombie, although the zombie would probably be less dangerous, and it would definitely smell better. "Families as posh as the Taylors can't spend time with people like Darren," said Mum. "There was nobody else," I said. "It's not like I could bring Kevin Ali Bonbon Harrison, is it? He can't even look at the car without throwing up. And we're drowning in puke before the end of the drive." "I'll call his mum and I'll tell her to come and get him," said Mum, dialing his house from her mobile. We have the number because Gamble often rings us up, but just before he was about to break wind down the phone. "Hello, is that Darren's mum?" she said. Someone spoke at the other end and then Mum replied, "Yes, it is." "No, I'm afraid we won't be able to take Darren with us to the wedding after all." For a few seconds, Mum listened to Mrs. Gamble. Her face slowly turned white and her eyes opened wide. Then she ended the call but put the phone back in her handbag. "I think she really wants Darren out of the house for the weekend," Mum said, her voice shaky. She said if we brought him back today, she'd be a bit cross. Cross? Well, her exact words were, "If I see that little rat bag before Tuesday, someone might lose an eye." "Oh," I said. "We'll just have to keep him away from the Taylors and make sure he's on his best behaviour," said Mum, trying to smile. Good luck with that, I thought. Gamble's idea of best behaviour is saying "excuse me" before he shoves your finger into an electric pencil sharpener and switches it on. We went back inside to find him in the middle of the room. Dad was standing in front of him on his tiptoes with hands outstretched like a goalkeeper about to face a penalty. His eyes were fixed on Gamble's bag of fireworks. Gamble drop-kicked his flattened can across the lounge and sat down with his muddy boots up on the sofa. "You could have told me you wanted a Caravan. I could have got you a deal." "Feet down, please," said Dad, anxiously mopping up the Coke drips. "If I'm going to own a Caravan I can't afford, then we can at least keep it clean." Gamble put his feet down and wiped them on the carpet. Mum and Dad looked like they might cry. But things were about to get worse. There was a scuffling of claws behind us and Gamble's dog Scratchy bounded inside. Scratchy is perhaps Europe's most disgusting animal, even worse than Gamble. As well as a serious case of worms, it has patchy fur, fleas, a milky eye and breath that could burn through paint. After a few excited circuits of the lounge, it shuffled along the floor, dragging its bum behind it. "Get that beast out of here!" screamed Mum. "Relax," said Gamble. "It's the worms." "We know," I said as the dog stopped to lick its backside. Then Gamble did something really disgusting, even by his standards. He put down the bag of fireworks and gave Scratchy a massive, slobbery kiss. Horrible. The dog's tongue had gone from its worm-infested backside to slopping around Gamble's face in less than 2 seconds. "This is the grossest thing I've ever seen," I said. And when you think that I've known Gamble for several months, this was really saying something. We're talking about a kid who keeps a stack of flattened roadkill toads, or toadkill as he calls them, in his school lunchbox alongside his sandwiches. "So, where are me and Scratchy staying then?" asked Gamble. "I'm not having that mutt in here," said Mum. "Oh," whined Gamble. "He'll behave. He's hardly destroyed anything recently." He scratched a zit on his bald scalp. "Well, apart from that person's flower bed. And Dad's armchair. Oh, and that postman." I slapped my forehead. "How do you destroy a postman?" "Oh, and you'll have to get rid of those fireworks too," said Dad. Gamble tutted. "I'll find somewhere safe for 'em." Just then, a car horn sounded on the street and we all looked out of the window. My mouth dropped open. Holy donuts.